What's going on, guys? Welcome back to episode 15 of Life Talk Sports. I am your host, Nick Campbell, aka Soupy. That's your other host, M-Carp, aka Mario Carpenter. We got our special guest in the building. Give it to me. Our first special guest. This was very special. This is our friend Spencer. Tell him. Say hi to the camera.
What's up?
How you doing there, Mario?
I'm doing good. What about you guys?
Oh, we're chilling. We're chilling.
Pretty
It's
good.
a pretty nice day, so I'm kind of happy. And I'm not tired for once, so we're good.
Pretty good after Thursday for me, at least.
Yeah. Speaking of Thursday night, actually, we'll get to that in a little bit because we got a couple of topics that isn't football today. First, we want to talk about you want to talk about Alex Cora or you want to talk about NBA first?
Let's go to Alex Cora
Let's
first.
go to Alex Cora because we're all Red Sox fans, all three of us. I don't know if you guys know. Now you know that. Alex Cora has been rehired as the Red Sox manager after he got fired earlier in 2020. Now, let me give you a little bit of a background on Alex Cora. He was the bench coach for the Astros in 2017. They won that World Series. He was the Red Sox manager for 2 years, 2018 and 2019. Won the series in 18, but he didn't touch the playoffs in 19. He was involved in the cheating scandal with the Astros in 2017 and in 2018 with the Red Sox. And like I said before, he was just fired in early 2020 along with AJ Hinch and Carlos Beltran, who didn't even manage a game because he was involved in that too. Now, Mario, I want to hear your thoughts on this before we get to Spencer real quick. Let's see. What do you think of this?
I mean, I don't know. I'm a little iffy about this. Now, here's what I think. I believe that people can learn from their mistakes. I don't think you cheat once. I don't think you're gonna end up being a cheat. It's not always guaranteed you're gonna be a cheater for like the rest of your career. But I do have concerns as a Red Sox fan. I mean, we had the historic 108 win season. I think it was right. 108
Yeah.
wins. Yeah, 108 win season. And I mean, it kind of, as a Red Sox fan, I was kind of disappointed when I heard what happened. If because to me it felt like I didn't take much pride in that World Series as a fan as I did like in 2013 or 2007, even 2004. I didn't take that much pride in it because of what happened. But I mean, I don't know, man. I just don't feel comfortable with this. I don't. Is he better than Ron Renicky? Yeah, it's an upgrade. Don't get me wrong. It's an upgrade from Ron Renicky, and I hope he learns from it. But I mean, the last season that he had, he didn't make it to the playoffs. I mean, the team just wasn't the same after that 2018 season. Personally, I don't see the Red Sox making a playoff appearance. I really don't. Do I see him being better than what Ron Renicky was when he was leading them? Yes, but I don't see him making a playoff appearance.
What do you think, Spencer?
Well, playing off what you were saying, yeah. But Cora, obviously, Ron Renicky is not a actual he was a temporary hire. We all know that we were going to get Alex Cora back after the season. After his suspension was over, everybody knew he was going to come back and coach the Red Sox again. He has a winning mentality, like the style of play and how the clubhouse was run under Alex Cora. Of course, obviously, was a winning mentality. We had a successful season, but here's the thing: is that do the Red Sox have a guy that we can really rely on an everyday basis? Like in 2018, it was Mookie. Mookie led that team. Obviously, during the playoffs, Jackie kind of stepped up and played really well.
Steve Pearce.
Steve Pearce came into the World Series, all that stuff. So, and a lot of those guys from that 2018 team aren't there anymore. It's a lot of younger players. Like this next season, I'm hoping to the God that Alex Cora sits down with Bobby Dahlbeck and has this kid be the next big thing for the Red Sox. He's a big kid. And during the end of the season, I saw that a bunch of those young guys on the Red Sox this past year are getting wins. So I'm thinking that if you take everything and they could build around a nice young core, which is like how what was it? Wasn't it the Cubs a few years back with Bryce?
Padres are doing it now.
Chris Bryant and Anthony Rizzo and
Padres are
Javier
doing
Baez.
that now
The
too.
Padres right
The White
now.
Sox are doing it too.
Yeah, with Padres with Tatis.
I'll say this, and I can see us going both ways because here's the thing: the pitching staff is better. You got Chris Sale, Erod. They've been in the World Series. Nathan Eovaldi's still there. He's been in the World Series. David Price is gone, and Rick Porcello are gone. They're off on different teams. I'm still a little skeptical on the pitching because we don't know how Chris Sale is going to be coming back. We don't know how Erod is going to be coming back with that heart problem in relation to COVID. Nathan Eovaldi was basically the only one. One man can only do so much for one pitching staff. I'm not really concerned about I am concerned about the starters. I'm concerned about the bullpen. That's just something we've been dealing with. That's something we've been, even when we won the World Series, and even prior to that, our bullpen's been quite a big concern. I think my most concern is, how he's going to manage these young kids. Because you got to remember, the last time he managed a team, Mookie Betts was still on the team. Rick Porcello was still there. David Price was still there. Who else left?
It was pre-sale injury.
Yeah, free sale. And well, I mean, he got injured in the 18 and 19 season, but yeah,
But
still.
it was like Sale wasn't out for a full year.
Yeah.
He was dealing with issues
I
the whole
think-
season and stuff.
I think because and the Red Sox are basically in the same position as the Padres and the White Sox.
Didn't
They have a
we-
young squad.
Didn't we have Joe Kelly too?
Yeah, we had. Yeah, that's what it was. We had
Yeah,
Joe
we had Joe
Kelly
Kelly.
too, and he went to the Dodgers too. But
Yeah.
I think what's gonna happen with the Red Sox. I think the Red Sox need time to build. They're just like the Padres. I can kind of see them making the playoffs, but I don't know. I'm still a little iffy about it myself. But you also got to remember most of this Red Sox squad is young. So I mean,
Right.
as of right now, I say give it time. I hope he doesn't cheat again because you
Right.
should have seen me in the living room when I seen that team win the World Series in 2018. I was going nuts. Only to realize a year later, oh yeah, this team was banging a damn trash can or using the damn cameras to center field. Oh, let me see that damn thing. I don't want to see that no more.
The Red Sox were caught with the.
They were caught with the
Apple.
cameras.
No, I thought it was the Apple.
Yeah, it was the
Apple,
it's
Apple
the
Watch.
they did
Yeah,
both.
yeah, that was in
Camera and
20,
they did the
yeah,
Apple Watch.
2017.
But-
Yeah, that was a different situation.
Okay,
They got
yeah.
caught with Apple Watches, and then the Yankees got caught doing the same thing against them. That was a different situation. I'm talking about the 2018 season with the whole camera thing. The Astros did the trash can. The Red Sox didn't do that. But still, it's cheating, and I hope he just doesn't do that again.
It's cheating like that though, but you always have to bring up a discussion that there's like any person who's played baseball, you're at second base, and if you can see the catcher's sign, you're gonna see something to relate to the batter, like
but the
something's coming.
situation with that is that technology can't be involved. That's where it becomes cheating.
Yeah, like I would say, like if the catcher's dumb enough to show up second base, guy in second base or third base the signs, then that's free.
Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of baseball fans forget is that sign stealing is completely a thing in baseball. You just got to do it the right way. And that's something I'm hoping Alex Cora learns his mistakes from moving forward.
I'll follow up on what both you said. What both you guys said. I'll go to Spencer first. So I'll say this: you are right. They really don't have like a leader right now. Like they don't have that key guy like they did with Mookie Betts. But I'll say this: with the teams that he's going into, I look at him and I look at AJ Hinch. I think Alex Cora has a better team to work with than AJ Hinch right now, and so that's by far that is a plus that he has to him. But I'll also say this: I think that Alex Cora, by the time he gets back in, I think he needs to actually figure out what exactly he needs to do with this team, especially that bullpen, because we have a lot of pitchers that we used last year, and I understand because a lot of our guys were out, but he has to make decisions on who actually can stay on this team and who doesn't to go.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that, and it's all going to come down to those types of decisions. If he makes the wrong decision, especially with pitching, because that I think is the most crucial part of the game right now. And we also got to remember the last season that he coached in 2019, Chris Sale was not Chris Sale neither. And that was a big part of it too. Like he wasn't no Cy Young Chris Sale. And we needed that ace and we just didn't have him. So with that being said, Alex Cora got to manage that pitching situation right there. He has to manage it. And I'll follow up on what you said. So basically, yeah, he's got to manage this team well. He's got to build them together. That's basically what he has to do. He's got to manage that pitching staff. We got to make sure we have a solid pitching staff coming into this season, or else, because I think that's the only way we even have a chance of making the playoffs is if we have a solid pitching staff. Because we don't have a leader to rely on at this point, really. JD Martinez, if you want to go with him, that's cool and everything, but we really don't have a leader. We do not have the same team that we did in 2018. So it's all going to come down to that pitching staff. It's all going to come down to whether Chris Sale is healthy, how Erod performs, Nathan Eovaldi. But I just can't see this Red Sox team making a playoff run. I can't. I just can't.
I mean, give it a couple years. Maybe
give it a couple years. Yeah, I can give it.
I'll say this. Alex Cora is still familiar with this team because, while biggest leaders left the team, they still got Erod, Chris Sale, Christian Vasquez was there back in 2018. JD Martinez is there. We don't know if Jackie Bradley Jr. is going to come back. Yeah, we don't know if we're going to resign him, but that's a possibility that we can resign him. I hope we do. We need that kind of defense. But
and the one
but,
thing
I mean, Alex Cora isn't like completely unfamiliar with this team. He still knows.
No, he's not.
Guys.
He used to be a player here. He won a World Series with us back in 2007, so he's definitely not.
Yeah.
Like, he's basically been a Red Sox. He has a lot of experience with the Red Sox as a player and as a coach. But the one thing that annoys me about this team so much, and it's not even Alex Cora, It's that front office. That front office,
Yes.
I swear, they don't help us in any way.
No,
They don't help us in any way whatsoever, and that is a problem. If you could just get one star, if you could just get one star, if you could just get one decent pitcher, I'll be happy. They don't want to do that.
when they got rid of Kevin Pillar in the middle of the season, I was like, "What the hell are you
Yeah,
doing?"
okay, I was gonna mention that. See, when we traded Kevin Pollock, his stock. I'm just gonna use like an NBA term, but I don't know if they use in baseball too. But his stock was through the roof at the time. Like, wasn't he having like one of his best career seasons that season, this past season? He was having one of the best career seasons he's had in a while. I'm saying it right now. I was like, trade him to a team that could use a veteran like him and get back a young pitcher. I don't care if it's anybody. Like, I remember that trade we were trying to get when we traded Mookie. Why did we not like? I'm sorry, but I would have
Should
tried.
have got
I would have when we were getting Mookie from the Dodgers. All right, either I was trying to tell people you can try to get if Mookie's good enough, where you can try to get what's it called? You can get Verdugo. I was gonna say Verdugo, Bregman, and try to get one of those pitchers from there.
Well, I'll say this.
I'll be honest.
I think
Verdugo was a
Bregman
good
would have been a
choice.
stretch.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I think Bregman would have been a stretch.
Yeah, that would have been.
Bregman
For them,
would
they
have
would have
not.
been a stretch. I don't think they wouldn't have done it. I think it's
I
just
don't think did I say that?
younger,
Did
and I
say
think it's too
Bregman?
much
You
of a
said
stretch.
Bregman, yeah.
No, I said Peterson. I meant.
Oh, you meant to say
Jock
Jock
Peterson. Okay, yeah.
I was gonna say Jock
that was-
Peterson, Verdugo, and
I don't think that trade should even came. I really don't. I don't think they should have made that trade. Period. I don't. I really.
Yeah, that front office had no.
But
clue
here's
what they
here's
were
what
doing.
annoyed me about that trade. Okay, we get Verdugo and we get help me out with the other guy, Peraza.
Yeah,
Jose
from the
Peraza,
Twins.
we
Yeah,
got rid of him
Yeah.
immediately.
Now listen, ready?
no, we didn't get rid of him.
The Twins. I'm pretty
Or
sure
both,
the Twins get Kenta Maeda. This dude's run is one of the finalists for the Cy Young. They get a better guy than us, and it wasn't even their trade. This is what annoys
Exactly.
me
Yeah,
about
no,
the Red
we
Sox.
got
That annoyed me. That annoyed me.
Honestly, it's because the Twins were sending out a pitcher, so they were getting a pitcher back. So we were sending out a fielder, so we were getting a fielder back. That's how it was.
They could have they.
Yeah, but they had no reason to be in the middle of.
I would have been fine. I would have been
I
fine.
don't know why they were. That was
Yeah,
just
I'm
an
still
amazing
trying to
trade.
I would have been
that
fine. I would have been fine. Like, first of all, I didn't want Mookie to leave. Obviously, none of us wanted that to happen. Okay, but I would have at least like slept. I would have at least slept that night knowing that we could have got at least get at least a pitcher. Like, we need that. Like,
Yeah.
get something
When
of
I
value.
actually thought we
There
were
is
trading
none.
Mookie Betts to the Dodgers, I'm thinking we're gonna get Walker Buehler.
Yeah,
I would have been like, if we
Walker
got Walker,
Buehler, that would have worked even well too.
That would've
Kenta
worked.
I
Maeda,
would have said
Walker Buehler.
straight up
Get
Mookie Betts
somebody.
for Walker Buehler and like a young pick for Mookie, and I would have been like, okay, bye.
yeah, because Walker Buehler is like a rising star in the pitching world.
Yeah, like
That would have been something interesting
even
to see.
like, oh god.
But you know what? Like, this ain't about, and this is about Alex Cora. Hopefully that cheating stuff is over. I mean, hey, I want the Red Sox to win a World Series cleanly. It's just as simple as that. And
Yeah,
I mean,
number 10 on the board.
we gonna have to wait. But I can't see it happening this year. I just can't.
No.
Yeah, it's gonna take time. I'm not gonna
Gonna take a little bit
expect
of
a
time.
lot from the Red Sox this year because we still need to have we still need to build up our team a little bit more before we can do anything. But let's just hope he's done cheating. That's all I can hope for.
I think it's done.
I think he learned his lesson. If he didn't learn his lesson, I don't think he would.
Anyway, he's gonna be under the microscope the whole time.
Yeah,
They're gonna the league's gonna be looking. The league's gonna be watching the Astros, the Yankees, and the Red Sox for a few years to come now.
well, the Yankees the least because
They got
they did get caught in 2017, but it wasn't after that they never
no,
did anything.
They didn't.
But
It's
the
just
Sox
they,
and Astros did. So
it's just they got a good team that can't produce.
yeah, but anyway, yeah, let's just hope the cheating is done. I wish that I will obviously go Sox. I don't care what any people say. Go Sox. It's go Sox till we die.
Yeah.
Anyway, we got news from the NBA. I know we talked about this a couple days ago. There was it was speculating that they were going to confirm a 72-game season that started December 22nd. That has just been confirmed. Mario, I'll let you take the floor on this one.
Well, all right, I'll start. So first of all, I'm a little iffy about this. I really am, because basically what I'm reading right now is they confirmed a 72-game season, which at that point, you might as well just do the 82-game season. Like, I mean, I don't have another 10 games is really going to kill you. Like,
Right.
It does. It does.
so like, I don't know. I think you could have added just 10 games, make it 82, make it a full season. What we're looking for starts December 2nd. I mean 22nd, excuse me, which means they're gonna do on-air Christmas games, and they're hoping to finish the season in July before July, before the Summer Olympics starts. Honestly, it seems like they're rushing everything. Like the draft is November 18th, and then training camp is December 1st. Personally, I think they're rushing everything. I don't think I'm gonna be honest. Like this is a good rookie class. This is a very good rookie class. But I think they're gonna be rushed. I think they're gonna be rushed into the fire. It's like what happened with the NFL. And
NFL with the
right, and you're gonna
training
really
camp,
we ain't gonna have no like
That's
I'm
a big difference.
it's still a
no,
big
but
deal.
like no, but like even I'm gonna go to like one thing. The preseason. We look at the NFL. The NFL did not want to have a preseason, and because of it, in the early games, there were a lot of teams and a lot of rookies that were just not performing because they didn't have that preseason to build them. You know what I'm saying? They
At
didn't
least give
have
them
that.
that experience.
Right. When you play up, it's like this. When you play training camp, it can only do so much. When you play the same team every single day, you're learning how to beat just that team alone.
Yeah,
It's as
you gotta.
simple as that. Like you're learning how to beat just that team alone.
I'll
You
say
know,
this,
if no,
and
wait, I'm sorry, let
all
me
right.
finish. If I'm going up against you and Spencer and I got my own team and we play each other every day, we're gonna figure out like what we do well and what we don't and how to like capitalize and how to actually, like how to actually win against each other. But again, we don't have that experience against other teams. And because of COVID, there weren't any joint training camps, there weren't any joint practices. So they really weren't getting the experience. That's exactly what's going to happen with the NBA. They're not going to get the type of these rookies, especially, they're not going to get the type of experience they need to actually go in. They're only going to face the same team until December 22nd happens. And I
I'll
think that's
say
a big
this,
problem.
and I agree, but I will say this. I think especially without the preseason, I think it goes above and beyond the experience. And I theorize this about the NFL about why all these players are getting injured the way they are. I think it's because there is no preseason. There was no preseason for them to at least prepare, and I think that's what's going to end up happening here. And yeah, I'm still kind of surprised they started before Christmas. Like, especially a few days before that. I was kind of surprised about that. I thought they would like at least start it after New Year's. But I mean, it is what it
Personally,
is.
I
I mean,
think
basketball
personally, I
comes
think they
back.
want
It's
to get
whatever.
this done. I think they want to get this season done as quick as possible before the Summer Olympics happen, so they don't end up getting pushed in. The
Um,
season ends up getting pushed into the time during the Summer
yeah.
Olympics. That's what I think.
Well, so I know out of like the three of us here, I watch basketball the most out of the three of us here, I would believe, right? I'm guessing just guess wise. I believe I
I
follow
think
I
it's
basketball the
between you and
mean,
most.
Mario.
yeah, I can't really tell. Like we don't really I can't really tell. I mean, I watch it, but I'll let you speak.
Oh, yeah,
I'll just go by the
so
inference that you watch it more.
yeah, so like you guys can't really compare football and basketball because the fact is that the preseason a lot in football is and I since I played football and preseason in high school and stuff like that, so it's not as much as like the NFL. But the preseason point in football is not actually to learn and get that all done. Like it's not to help the rookies learn everything. Yes, it is to help that, but it's also to help the players get back into a football shape. So if you take
Right.
away the preseason and you go to full-fledged contact where I want to get the ball away from you. So say for example, you take a bunch of freshmen, okay, and you put them on a varsity squad football team, and you only let them play with like pads going half speed the whole time. You telling me the first time they get hit by a 280-pound linebacker, they're gonna get right back up? No, they're gonna feel
Yeah.
that pain. So the thing is that you're taking all these guys who haven't played football in like what, six months or something. Like let's say when did they when was this last Super Bowl?
The Super Bowl is in February.
So okay, think about it. And they started when?
The season started in September, like
Yeah,
early
so
September. Yeah.
so that's like 6 months without playing football, and then you go straight to full hitting. No practice games against other teams where there's a player on the field. You're in that atmosphere where you're just getting hit. So that's why I feel like in basketball, there's certain situations where a lot of players can do something to stay in that basketball shape. Like, yes, playing 5-on-5 against your team or something like that in a practice squad game. Obviously, basketball is not going to be the same as playing with the Lakers and LeBron James and Anthony Davis, obviously.
Right.
But I have a very good feeling that a lot of the guys who are getting drafted, like Wiseman, LaMelo Ball, all those other young, or not Carson Edwards, Edwards, I can't remember the name.
Anthony Edwards.
Anthony Edwards, thank you. Yep, they're all gonna come up, and they're gonna be those kids are playing at such a high level anyway. I feel as if they're gonna be fine. Obviously, gonna take maybe the first like 10 games to get into a groove, but I feel as if if the teams that draft them do a well enough job of it's immediately when they get drafted saying, okay, you're gonna be at the practice facility 2 days from now, and we're starting up right then and there, and they have somebody they'll be ready. I think.
Right.
Um,
Well, here's what I think. Let me say it this way. It's going to specifically the rookies. If you remember that college season got cut very short for them, and when it did, it's been they've had a longer time of not playing competitive basketball than the actual NBA players have. That's one thing. The other thing is preseason and me. I don't think it's about getting in shape. I think that's all the training camp right there. In my opinion, I think training camp is more about getting in shape than the actual preseason is. I think the preseason personally is a way for a lot of players to build confidence,
Yeah.
feel for the game just a little bit. And I think that's what preseason is definitely. I think that's the main part of preseason. See how your skill is against certain other guys. Because again, like for instance, even if it's like the first quarter, and you have like suppose I don't know, I'm thinking like suppose it's the Packers and the I don't know, I'm just coming up with something random.
Bears. Let's just say Bears. Packers and Bears rivalry.
Okay, yeah, I can do that. Suppose it's like the Packers and the Bears, right? Even if it's one quarter, if Devontae Adams versus Eddie Jackson, you kind of get a feel of like, let's see where my game is right now and see if it's improved compared to a year ago. But without the preseason, I don't think these rookies going to have a lot of problems early on. Maybe towards like the middle, towards the end of the season, they'll start picking it up. But towards the early season, I think they're going to have a lot of problems. I think the NBA is going to have a lot of problems, especially the fact that now I don't know specifically if they're gonna be doing actual home and away games or they're gonna be in a bubble
That's the
again.
other thing I
No,
wanted to touch up on.
it's. I think they said that it's going to be home and away games, and then anything, and then it's depending on how the U.S. is handling COVID. That's what
See,
they-
that's the
I
see,
was
then
gonna
that's the
touch
big
up on
problem.
that.
'Cause
I
if-
want
'cause if-
wait, Amar, let me get to this real quick. I wanted to touch up on that because you also have to put in the factor the NBA shares most of their arenas with the NHL, and we don't know if the NHL is going to be using those arenas either. So if they're going to be using those arenas, you know, it's complicated because yeah, there are some NBA arenas that are used specifically for the NBA, but most of their arenas are shared with the NHL. TD Garden, Madison Square Garden, the Staples Center, just to name a few. I'm not going to name them all, but that's just to name a couple. So that's the other thing I was going to ask if we know that yet.
But not even that. It's also if you're doing home and away games, and you go through COVID. COVID was turning. See, we don't know how big of an issue COVID was going to be for the NBA because they shut it down as soon as there was like one test
They were
happening.
smart.
Yeah.
Right. They were smart about it. But here's the thing. If you're going to go a full season of home and away games and you play a lot more than the NFL. See, the NFL only plays once every week, maybe twice a week, probably maybe like twice in a total of 5 days. The NBA plays once every 2 days or once every 3 days against different players. So most likely they're probably going to have more COVID tests if they're deciding to do home and away. Now, this season, I think Adam Silver is probably one of the best. I think he is the best commissioner in sports. Hands down, I don't think there's a better one than him, to be honest with you. There's not. He's done everything, I think, extremely well. So, I mean, I have a lot of trust in him. But the thing is, the only reason why the COVID situation was so great, he handled it so well, is because he put everybody in a bubble. And how many NBA players do you really think want to go back into that bubble and not see their family for 6 months? This is, I, I think they're rushing a lot of stuff. I don't think they have all I don't think they have all their information. And I don't think they've confirmed everything yet. And I think rookies are gonna be slow for like the beginning, like for the beginning part of the season. I don't know. I think this whole season is gonna end up getting rushed. And then especially if COVID cases keep happening, they're gonna have to suspend games or postpone them. And it's just not.
Like
And
the NFL is doing.
I just don't. I just don't think this is pretty doable. He could prove me wrong because Adam Silver is a great commissioner. I want to know how he handles this. I really do. But it seems like everything's being rushed, and it just seems like it's not. I just don't think it's going to be a doable season to the point where it's done smoothly.
I agree.
I think what they're going to do is what the MLB did, honestly. Is
But even
basically
the MLB had problems too. Like I don't think.
Yeah,
Adam
yeah.
Silver-
Well, in the beginning, they
in
had
the beginning.
problems.
So like I'm thinking what I feel like is gonna happen is from the point of the draft to the first game or something like that, they're probably gonna have a thing where they're gonna have the players be in like one area. So it's like how like the oh god, I can't remember the basketball divisions off the top of my head.
Yeah, I can't
But like
they're gonna have them play.
they're gonna be like the Boston, it's gonna be like the Celtics, the Knicks, the like it could be all teams in one region, plays one region, another region, like that. So I feel like that's how it's gonna be. Like the Lakers and Clippers, Clippers, Warriors, Kings, they're gonna be like a little division by themselves. I feel like that's how it's gonna be.
The
I mean, that'd
MLB
be
had
that,
problems
But
starting off because
the only
of
problem with that is like California's lucky. They got like a good 4 or 5 teams, what is it, 4 or 5? Pretty sure it's 4.
Kings,
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 Warriors,
Lakers, Celtics, Warriors.
Celtics.
Lakers,
Yeah.
Lakers, Clippers, Warriors, Kings. I feel like there's one. We're missing one. I feel like we're missing one.
For what?
California.
I think it's 4.
It's 4.
Four
Yeah.
divisions. Let's
So,
see.
like,
There's
California's lucky.
In the Eastern, there's the Atlantic Division, the Central Division, and the Southeast Division. The Western, it's the Northwest, the Pacific, and the Southwest. So there's 3 in each.
So do you think that so are we? So
I'm
what
saying
you're
they
trying to
play by
say?
divisions.
All right. So what you're trying to say, Spencer, is they play like their seasons within those divisions.
Yeah.
That the MLB did.
All right. So they don't. So you don't think that like LA plays Boston that much?
No.
Like they don't play.
No,
like,
I think like one game against other teams in every other division, but then everything else is gonna be focused in your division.
that don't seem too bad. It doesn't seem like there's gonna be a lot of.
Because what I'm
coexistence
thinking
there.
is that what I'm thinking is most of these players, what teams they play for, I feel like there's gonna probably be a no, like if they, I feel like there's gonna be like, I don't think they're gonna do this, but I feel like there should be like a no trade system this next year unless it's declared by the league. So like, let's say for example, the Celtics wanted to trade Gordon Hayward like they've been saying for a while. All right, but it's like midway through the season, they want to trade Gordon. Okay, well then you got to go through the NBA and you have to go through a two-week process of making sure that Gordon's healthy. They have to make sure he's healthy for the players that are being traded are healthy for those 2 weeks, and then the process happens.
I think that would work.
I
The
think
only
that
thing
would
is he's got to do it. He's got to Adam Silver, if he really wants to get the season done before the Olympics in July, which he probably could, but like if he really wants to, he's going to have to do this as smooth he's going to have to do this as smooth as possible.
Gotta
And
be
it's going to be
precise.
tough. I think it's going to be really tough.
Okay, remember the soonest the season could be finished, like the regular season can be finished by March. And the
Well,
playoffs could
I
be in
think,
April.
and I said this last episode, and I think he's doing this because you got to remember, the NHL and NBA seasons end in early June with their championship. This season ended in like what, September? Was it September?
Oh god.
Yeah.
Not even
So
like
I think he's trying to. I don't even think it's because he wants to start it before the Olympics. I think he wants to end it so he can get the season. The season
Back to
usually starts
normal.
in September, back to normal.
more-
So they start in September and they end in June. That type of thing. I think that's
Right,
why he's
well,
trying to do that.
so September. So usually it starts. So usually the NBA season, any regular NBA season,
Starts
will
like
start.
September, October.
So it's late
was-
September, early
Yeah.
October. I think it's like
All
September
right, and then it
1st,
ends in June, right?
Yeah, with the NBA
So
finals.
late
Yeah.
September, all right, so October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May. All right, so it's about probably like I'm gonna be honest, like an 8-month season if it starts in like early October to like June, right?
That's depending if your
Yeah.
team makes the playoffs, makes
Right.
the finals.
Here's the
right.
problem.
You gotta
Here's the
remember all
problem
these
I'm
things.
having.
Yeah, so like most teams are going to be like a 6 months or like a 6.5 months. Then like if your team makes to the finals, of course it's gonna be like an 8
So
months.
this
because of the
season,
playoffs.
it probably they want to end it before July. So what do you think is like an appropriate time where like do you think this season might end? Like if you were to predict where
If
the
I was
season
to predict, I'd say like the final weeks of June. If I had to predict.
Yeah, I'm gonna say
That's
final
see,
weeks of June.
that brings my other problem right there. Summer Olympics start in July.
That's true.
So
yeah.
we're gonna go from. So you're really rushing this now because you're going from let's end this in June and then bam, let's go right to July. And we already noticed U.S. basketball team is iffy as it was. They were losing to Australia for crying out loud.
Well, because remember the guys like LeBron James, all of them, they're not gonna play. It's gonna be
Yeah,
guys.
right.
It's gonna be
And
like
they're
guys
not-
like Emmanuel Mudiay
and I
that
don't
won't
think-
play. all
And
these
after
younger
this, I
guys.
don't think LeBron is gonna. I really don't think LeBron's gonna want to play another Olympic Games. He's probably gonna
No,
want to be
he
with his
didn't play
family
last
after
time.
the
He
season.
didn't play last
Right.
time.
That's what I'm saying. So this is where it's really rushing. This is where you're really, really rushing it because, again, the USA basketball team last time they played, they were losing to Australia with Patty
Australia
Mills.
has like they have a good team though too.
Yeah.
They do,
don't
but
think
guess
I-
what?
Hard
U.S.
game.
basketball. It's U.S. basketball. We're expected to win. It's just as simple as that.
Like, oh,
And
You
so
can't-
you're
you
going
can't do
from.
that.
But like, let me get to my point. You're going from June to July. You're doing this all within a month. So this is just nonstop. This is all it is. It's nonstop now. So this is what I'm saying. This is why I'm iffy about it. Is because you're rushing everything.
Yeah,
From
I can see
the
that.
draft process to the training camp to the regular season to the end of the season and right to the Olympics.
You're not giving
You're just
the
rushing everything.
training
You're barely
and,
gonna have
all
any
that
time to
enough
spend with their
time.
families.
And honestly, it's all players' choice. So it's not like
It is. You're right.
Because you got to remember, you also got to think about this. The USA team is not just for NBA players. There was like when Anthony Davis was drafted, he immediately went to the he he played in the Olympics before his first game in the
Right, but it's
NBA.
like, but I think they
So
only allow. I'm pretty sure they only allow. Don't they still have that thing where it's only like one rookie? It's like only one rookie joins or whatever.
one rookie from the NBA. So remember, if
Right.
so, think about this: if there's a bunch, there's all the guys who are in college who are not drafted yet before the USA games, they could probably play. They could go to play for the USA.
They
They
could.
not saying they will, but that's another option because you also got to remember most of the guys who play for the USA team aren't going to be playing in July or late April, mid June. You know what I mean? They're not going to be playing in June or mid April. Most of those guys who play are like on the teams who are sometimes eliminated first. Like last time, wasn't it like the USA team? They had guys like CJ McCollum on the team. Like of course the Trailblazers got eliminated in the first round, or was it second round? Second round.
Something like that, yeah. Was it last year?
This past year.
This year, no, they got eliminated in the first round.
They got eliminated first round?
Yeah, by the Lakers.
Okay, it was the first round against the
Yeah.
Lakers. Yeah, okay, I can't remember if they made it the second round or not. My fault. But I'm just saying, guys like Damian Lillard, TJ McCollum, they're going to be rested enough. They're going to have a good month and a half of rest before, anyway. And that's everything saying, like, or what was it? Like Michael Carter Williams was on the team 1 year, I think they said.
Yeah.
There was a bunch of guys who they were not stars, but they were known names in the NBA.
Right. But as for like a US basketball team and how like prestige we are in that category, especially in the Olympics, we're expected to win gold every year. It's just expected. Like from any other and other countries too, not just the US. Like other countries expect the US to win gold. It's just been like that for like a long period of time. So with that being said, if everything's being rushed, there's going to be a lot of guys who might not even want to play the Olympics considering that. Because by the end, because if you're just going to go, because we ended this in October, we ended the last season October, I want to say.
End of September type thing, yeah.
End of September,
Something
right?
like that.
So now you're starting a whole new season, like probably 4 months later. Like I mean, it just seems everything's so rushed, and he's got to do, and especially between COVID season, if people start getting tested positive and they're going to have to postpone games, most likely he's not going to do that. Most likely he's not going to postpone games, but there will be some games he will have to postpone, especially the fact that the NBA plays a lot more frequently than the NFL, and especially the problems earlier that the MLB can't. But you know what? Adam Silver is such a great commissioner. I expect him to learn at least from the MLB because the MLB play-wise, they play a lot more than the NBA. So he can, but they each play frequently. So I expect that Adam Silver learns a lot from Rob Manfred and the mistakes that he made and the MLB made with COVID and everything like that.
It wasn't even just COVID. I think the main reason why he had trouble starting up the season was because the Players Association, the MLB, they wanted the players to be fully paid. Like, you know how Mike Trout makes $35 million. They wanted that. But Rob Manfred was saying, and he was right about this, knowing that he can't have fans in the stadium due to the COVID protocols and all of that. He said, you know, if that happens, we're not going to have a season because everybody's getting paid. You know, we're not getting that much money in because we're not letting fans in the stadium and all of that. So that's why that happened.
Right.
The PA wanted them to be paid.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Early in the MLB season, the MLB was doing terrible with COVID.
That too. Yeah.
So I expect Adam Silver to learn from that to prevent less COVID cases from happening, so he can actually finish this season.
Yeah, no.
So he can actually finish his season as quickly as he can possibly do it, and
that's what I'm saying. That's why they put it down to 72 games. So the sooner. So think about it, 82 games takes till then. So you can also minus the 10 games, which is probably a good 20 days of game days.
Right.
So that's like a half month off.
Right. And that was probably, and I can see that's a reason. I can see that's probably a theory or a reason why he wanted to do that. So like, I understand it.
So it'll end closer to like what you said. The Olympics start when?
July.
So then take those 20 days off of when the NBA usually ends. So then it's gonna be towards the end of April, more or less. So then the players will have a full month to relax, and the players who want to play, like I brought up a list of like the 2016 team. Some of these guys won't be playing just due to how it is. Like Jimmy Butler, Kevin Durant, DeAndre Jordan, Kyle Lowry, Harrison Barnes, DeMar DeRozan, Kyrie, Klay Thompson, DeMarcus Cousins, Paul George, Jeremiah Green, and Carmelo. Now I can already tell for a fact that someone like probably guys like Harrison Barnes, DeMar DeRozan,
right, absolutely,
like maybe and like that's about that.
DeMar might.
Yeah, like I don't see Kevin Durant going back to the USA team because of his injury. Jimmy Butler maybe. Kyle Lowry, yes, he's always likes playing for them. But he's 30. He's gonna be 35 when he's on the team, I think.
Right.
Yeah. almost 34, 35. I can't remember tell when. Carmelo's always been a USA player, so he might
Right.
play his last years in USA.
The one upside I can see out of this, the one upside I can see out of this of them starting in July is a lot of these U.S. basketball players, Olympic
I mean,
basketball
ending.
players, huh?
You said it starting, you meant ending.
Yeah,
Said-
yeah. Well, yeah. The one thing I could see, like the one positive I could see out of this is a lot of U.S. basketball team. They're all young. They're all very young. They don't got families like LeBron James does. You know what I'm saying? Like they're
Yeah.
not, so they probably wouldn't mind. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's not like a lot of them really don't have like families. I mean, Jason Tatum does and everything like that, but a lot of them are just young kids. They haven't even started a family yet.
Devin Booker, I could see absolutely playing Team USA.
Right. So like I could see a lot of guys now like
Someone Tyra
like
Harold
a lot
doing
of
it too.
players with no like a lot of players with no like wives or kids or girlfriends or whatever. I could see a lot of them going. I could see a lot of them not having a problem going because it's really not nothing they're missing at home. Opposed to LeBron James, if he were to go, that's another like 2 months away from your
Without his
family.
family, yeah.
Right. So like there's a lot
God,
of young
another 2
players.
months for Brian to get his ass whooped.
There's a lot of
That
there's
was
a lot
funny.
of players. There's a lot of young players that are there's a lot of young players that are go that on this team, and that's a big positive too. Hey, if I feel like Adam Silver can make it work, but I'm just iffy about it.
Yeah, I have.
I'm not
Everybody's
saying
gonna
it's
be.
definitely like a no. I'm not saying like definitely he's not going to make this work. I have a lot of trust in Adam Silver. I'm just iffy about this plan, just
Right,
because how everything's being rushed so quickly.
I agree. I
Yeah,
got nothing else to add to that. What
there's
about you
no.
guys?
Done right there.
I got a feeling that there's probably what's it called? Well, we can rely on the NBA just because during the bubble, at least, there was 0 positive cases.
Right.
Right.
So I feel like I think there's gonna be another season where the players can elect to play, where it's gonna
Right.
be like they're gonna say like there's gonna be very strict rules when you're away, like there's gonna be no going out. Like when we go to the games, it's gonna be from the hotel to the games to like you know what I mean. Like
Right.
I don't know if there's actually gonna be any like I don't think there's gonna be fans.
Not without a doubt.
No.
They
Hopefully
might
we
have.
for-
They might.
Actually, it depends on where it is because the NFL in certain
Limited.
places they
See,
don't have
here's the
fans,
thing,
but in
but
other
here's the thing
places
is
they do.
NFL, it's open air.
Yeah.
So you don't want to put those people in a concentrated arena,
Yeah.
like a
Right, but
closed
well,
arena.
limited. Well, they can do limited too. So like whatever that
50%
capacity is, they can
capacity or
do
something like
limited
Yeah,
that.
like 20%
too. You
capacity. But
separate.
I want the player, like the fans, in the nosebleeds. I would not
The
want any
problem-
no court side.
The
nothing in
problem with the
court sides.
arena is that the arenas are a lot smaller than the NFL
That's
and
what I'm
MLB
saying.
stadium.
All the
So it's
fans
going to
are
be a
gonna-
lot more difficult to try and figure something like that
Yeah,
out.
I'm saying like court, like you have the court right in the middle.
Mhm.
No, all the floor
Yeah, do what
seats
the NFL
not
does.
happening. I would say
Right.
just do all like the nosebleed areas.
Yeah.
And like 20%
Right.
nosebleed and maybe
I
like
say
maybe
like
the
I say like
midsection,
mask.
sure.
I say like mask wearing it should definitely be required,
Yeah,
especially
Oh,
for
absolutely. But
most
didn't the
mostly
NHL
most arenas I expect to be empty
No,
though.
they just the NHL did this. They put the Eastern Conference in the Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, and they
Yeah.
put the Western Conference in the Rogers Place in Edmonton. And then when the NHL the Stanley Cup Finals happens, they was in the Rogers Place in Edmonton, but they didn't have any fans in there, so that was pretty
I
smart on
remember.
their end.
I expect most arenas to be empty though for sure. But
Yeah,
I think some of them
For
will
the
have
first
limited
half, at least.
attendance.
Yeah,
maybe like
limited
halfway through the
attendance.
season. Yeah, I think maybe halfway through the season, if COVID gets better,
yeah.
you could approach the idea. But I'm thinking maybe during the playoffs there could be something going on with fans. Because I think if you were to ask the NBA players again, would you go through another bubble this time around, maybe
Yeah.
even better? I
I'm
think the bubble
I'm
players would do
hearing
it.
rumors that the NFL might do a bubble, although I'm not sure if
I
that
don't
would
think
work
that's a
out.
good
I don't
idea.
think that's a good idea, either,
Having
to be
a-
honest with you.
Yeah,
I don't
I
get
That's
it.
a rumor, though. I don't
I
know
can
if that's
tell
true.
already that if there's a bubble NFL thing, there's gonna be fistfights.
Well, not even that, but like you gotta also put in the factor about how many players are on one franchise. You got 53 players. You're gonna stuff
Plus
53.
staff.
You're gonna plus staff. That's like over 60 or almost 70 people. You're gonna
Well,
stuff
how
70
many-
plus people in one.
How many teams usually are in the playoffs each year? It's like what?
This
16?
year they extended it, so I think it's 16.
So think about this for a
Yeah.
second.
I think you could correct me
So
if I'm
think
wrong.
about this for a second. How many hotels were used in Disney for the NBA? There's like 10, 15. They used a lot of different hotels for the NBA.
Yeah.
So I was gonna say, if you dedicate one hotel to 2 teams
Yeah. Right.
and you split that down the middle, I think they could do it. But no, here's the thing: is I wouldn't. I'm not saying like they're horrible people, but I would just say like you're telling me after a game or you're testosterone's pumping and your blood flowing and you're all angry. And
Right.
you're telling me a guy talks some shit, talks crap to you or something, and like injures your teammate on purpose, and you guys are at the same hotel. You're telling me that guy's not there's not going to be some type of scuffle
Yeah,
at the
right.
Yeah,
hotel?
well, that's like a what do you call it? That's like a what if event too. So like I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah, but
but
I'm just
like
saying you put all those
think
guys together. There's going to be something
Yeah.
like that.
but as for the NBA, like the plan itself, I just think it being
I
rushed. I
I think
just
it's
think,
pretty iffy.
but hey, if anybody can pull it off in sports, it's Adam Silver, in my opinion.
I agree. I hate to break this up, but like we've been on this topic for like almost 30 minutes, so let's just get on to
Yeah.
the next topic. All right, we got something with the Las Vegas Raiders. Oh man, the Raiders have been fined. Ready? $500,000. Jon Gruden also got fined for $150,000, and they lost their 2021 6th-round pick in the NFL draft. This happened because they violated COVID-19 protocols related to their offensive tackle Trent Brown. Because he got tested positive in late October. I guess they violated the protocol. So
Yeah, he was
yeah, I'll let you take the floor, Mario.
yeah, so when Trent Brown got tested positive, he was wearing no mask and he was still around the team. They got fined $350,000 for mask violations, was not wearing a mask, like social distancing. They were fined $165,000 because several players attended a charity event without a mask. So talk to me, Nate. What do you think about this?
I
Give me
want
your
to tell you
explanation
something.
about this.
They should have been fined more. They should have been fined in the millions. I'm gonna tell you why. All right. John Gruden should have been fined more too. I'm just telling you that right now. He should have not been fined $150,000. I think that should have been in the 500Ks if I'm being honest with you. Let me tell you something. The Raiders should have been fined more than what they did because this is not the first time they've done this. Like you just said, they got fined 350K for violating the sideline mask rule. They got fined 165,000 for Maxwell's players at a fundraiser, and they just got fined $50,000 for unauthorized locker room visitors. And combined with all and with this now combined, the Jon Gruden's fine and the Raiders fine is over $1.2 million in COVID related fines. They should have gotten fined more for this because you're gonna break the protocols more than once and only get fined $500,000. Really?
It might have been less if they did it once.
Yeah,
So like
yeah,
maybe it was just maybe it was like doubled. Maybe it would have been 250,000
yeah.
and they did it twice and got
It kept
500,000.
on going up because they
Go
kept
to
on doing it.
right.
See, here's my problem. All right, you just moved to Las Vegas. You build an ultra billion-dollar stadium on the Las Vegas Strip in Allegiant Stadium for $2 billion. You redefine your brand because the Oakland Raiders weren't really desirable. Now they're in Las Vegas. They play in a multi-billion-dollar stadium. They play in one of the hottest places to go to in America. You rebranded your entire franchise, and this is what you're gonna do. I to be honest, I think this is more on Jon Gruden because as a head coach, you got to make sure that you follow these protocols. He hasn't been doing that, and these notes, as far as I'm concerned, proves that Jon Gruden just I don't know if he doesn't care about it, but he needs to take this more serious. COVID is not a joke. I've never had it, but I can tell you right now, from all the people that died and all the people that have gotten it, it's no joke. I think Jon Gruden should have gotten a bigger fine. I don't think he should have gotten suspended because who's going to take over as a coach?
See, the thing is, even if it doesn't affect you like respiratory wise, if it doesn't
It's
affect
still
you
it's
that
still a huge
badly,
deal, right?
it still takes time out of your life.
Which is
Like
why I
like
said,
those nice
I can
like
only
little
imagine
2 weeks from doing nothing. It takes time. Here's what I got to say about it. This right here, in my opinion, looking at the fines and looking at all the penalties that he's getting, I can compare the penalty wise, not the problem wise, but the penalty wise, I can compare this to Deflategate.
Yeah,
This is very similar
this is
to the penalties in Deflategate. It is. The fines that they got, you take away the picks. I think Deflategate was bigger. Don't get me wrong. I think their penalties was a lot bigger. But the penalty
yeah,
wise, this is pretty extreme.
yeah, and not to mention, you just like I said before, you just moved your whole franchise over to one of the hottest cities in America, and this is what you're doing. See,
Right.
I would say fine them $5 million, but here's the problem with the Las Vegas Raiders. A lot of their money went into moving to Las Vegas. So, but I think they should have gotten at least fined $2 million because this is unacceptable. You've done this on multiple accounts in the process, and you're only going to get fined 500. I have a problem with that. I think they
Your
should have
thoughts,
gotten fined
Spencer?
so much more than what they did. Your thoughts, Spencer?
I think there's just an easy solution for this all. All right. If a player is caught without a mask and if they're violating anything, suspended for 2 games. And the team is fined $50K.
I say
Out of the
one
players
game.
caught. No, I say 2 games. For the game they got caught, they get thrown out of the game immediately. So let's say, for example, I don't care who it is.
I gotta.
Oops, sorry, you're done.
All right. Well, I think you were about to answer my question, but I was about to say, is this for like what you're saying right now? Is this for the Raiders in general because they've done it so many times, or just
I'm
the
saying if
NFL in
it's a
general?
repeat offenders. So let's say, for example, the Vikings do it. Okay, Dalvin Cook is caught without a mask. All right,
All right.
breaks the rule, he gets fined, fine, but it's for repeat offending. All right, this is just for NFL wide. So,
Okay.
but with Raiders, you guys, they had their chance. They're done. Like you guys, now it's time to crack down on the Raiders because they had all their chances taken away already. Like, you know what I mean? They got fined. They were told. Now if they break it again, this is done because they know. So like teams that weren't offenders, like the Panthers, Vikings, like they get the warning. Like
Yeah.
you get fined, fine. But what I say is, if a player is caught without a mask or violating something, so like say for example, in the middle of the game, Derek Carr gets caught doing something wrong or doing something like violating something, out of the game, that game is suspended for the game after, while the team gets fined as well.
I agree with that. See, like I would say, this is what I would say. I would say, I agree with you 100%. I would, in other cases, I would say it's extreme, but to the point where the Raiders are like consistently
Doing it
breaking that,
consistently.
it's a nice way to get your message out to do it, to suspend them that
I'm
way.
sorry, but I feel
I
like in
wouldn't-
sports, you like these guys make all the money, all the money in the world. You could talk to any of them. Like most of them, they'll act like you can't touch them
Yeah.
sometimes.
Right.
So the league looking at them like, you're not as untouchable as you think, and then boom, you get like I'm saying, like if someone does it to enough times where they can get something where I think the first time. So let's say for example, I'm just gonna throw a random name out there, like I'm just going like DK Metcalf. I'm just gonna throw a random name out. Okay. First offense, team gets fined. He gets fined as well. Okay. Second time, he gets suspended for the game and the game, whatever, like gets suspended for a game, and the team gets fined again. Third time, the team doesn't get fined. The player gets fined.
See, right there, the
That's a little
third time I
iffy.
would disagree. Because the thing
I'm
is, like,
sorry.
Because if they're gonna continuously get
the
fined,
third time I disagree.
stay that
Because put
way.
it this
I'm
way,
sorry, but
if it's DK Metcalf, like if it's somebody like DK Metcalf, that star status, I understand. But if it's like a third stringer who doesn't play and he just continues violating it, it's not going to do nothing really
Yeah.
for him. So like I think the first time, like you say, you fine him. I think you fine that athlete. If it happens the second time, I think you fine that team because the team should be warning him, hey, look, not to do this. The first time, if it's the so the first time, if the athlete's not wearing a mask, I think the athlete alone should get the fine. But if
I
the
don't
second
think
time
Jon
it doesn't
Gruden-
happen, I think that should be the team the second time because a
Yeah.
team should warn you, hey, look, this you did it one time and you're continuously doing it again, then the team should get fined. If it happens again, then you just keep adding to those fines. So, but the thing is, and then you suspend that player too, or you suspend whatever player happens decides to break the protocol after that, even if it wasn't the original offender. So, like for instance, like if us three are on a team and Nate's caught without a mask, right? First time they find Nate, right? Second time Nate's caught without a mask. Now they find the team. If the third time I'm without a mask, you find the team and you suspend me with that, and then you suspend me. So that ways now the message is getting out. Now anybody who doesn't wear a mask from here on out is getting suspended. There's no more. You get a warning.
I would have
That's
thought
what
the
I think
message
it
would have
should be.
been out earlier because Jon Gruden isn't the
You
first
would-
head coach
you
to have
would
gotten
think-
fined.
You would think.
It, it was it was Pete Carroll that first got fined,
Right.
right? Because I know he got fined. Yeah, I think there was
Yeah, I
another
think they got.
coach, but
I
can't
think him
remember
and
off the top of my
Gruden.
head.
No, I think him and Gruden both got fined at the same time. I remember.
Yeah,
reading
yeah,
both
you
in
know what?
one
No, you're
article.
right. They did because this is Jon Gruden's second fine. Now I remember because I think he got fined for the unauthorized locker room visitor. I think I could be wrong about that. I think either that or he got fined for not having his mask on. But here's my problem with Jon Gruden. I like him as a coach. He's a good coach. I don't think he's a bad one at all. But this right here shows how undisciplined he is. You're gonna tell your players to go out of fundraiser. Fine. You gotta tell them to follow the damn rules. I know they're off the field, but it's a fundraiser. You're in public. Gotta stay safe. Gotta follow the protocols that the CDC gives you. Even though nobody likes it, you gotta follow them. And as a coach, you gotta tell your players to be responsible. I know some players like to go, do their own thing, but like at the same time, as their coach, some responsibility has got to be made. You got to be like, follow the damn rules. You know what I mean? I think this is really going to show how undisciplined and how not so serious Jon Gruden is taking all of this.
Do you
Because this isn't
think?
the first time he's gotten fined either.
Now let me ask you guys a question. Do you think that the Raiders are somehow going to appeal this? They're going to try to go to appeal
It shouldn't
because I
happen.
They
think they'd be
should. They
dumb not.
shouldn't. They
I think
shouldn't.
right because I think this is clearly like on them. I'm just asking because you never know. You
Like
just know.
there's some cases where, like, let's say for example, let's just say this for example, okay? A player is called without a mask, but then you look, they're like the NFL throws him out of the game, okay, and suspend him, and then you look back in video, and all the guy did was this: he had a mask on, took it off, took a drink of water, talked to a teammate while having the mask in his hands, and they still suspend him for that. That's a difference. Or let's say, for example, he was doing something outside of the league, okay, and didn't have his mask on, but he had a mask on hand and was doing something where it was required that he took his mask off, but the league still fines the team. That's a situation where you can appeal.
Yeah,
But
I
a
agree.
situation where it could have been, where it was just a mistaken of what happened.
Right.
I think what needs to happen
But
is
as
this.
for this, I don't think there's a way out of it. I think the
Oh,
Raiders. I think the Raiders. I think there's no way out of this. They gotta pay them
have to.
fines. They
They
gotta
have to
take that
accept.
penalty.
I think
And
what
that's
needs
why I
to happen.
say. And that's why I go back to. I'm sorry, Nate. You
Uh, I
continue.
I think what needs to happen is this. Mark Davis, who's the owner of the Raiders, he needs to sit down with the coaching staff, especially Jon Gruden, and he needs to tell him, if this continues to happen, your heads are getting chopped off. You're out of here. It's not happening.
Call Jerry
Right.
Jones.
Exactly. It's Mark, and I know Mark Davis. He's a great owner. He's a great owner. He made a great decision to moving the team to Las Vegas. That's not a bad spot for a team at all. So I know he's a good owner. I know he's going to take some kind of precaution like that. But I think he needs to sit down with this coaching staff and tell and anybody that
And the
worked with the
trainers,
Las
and the
Vegas Raiders.
trainers,
Yeah,
everything like
yeah.
that.
And he needs to tell him, this continues to happen. Someone's going to get their head chopped off. You're going to lose your job. You know, he needs to sit down with these people because this keeps on happening. It's gonna make him look bad as an owner too. It's just making the franchise itself look bad.
And this is why not what they done, not what they done, not what the Raiders did, because what the Raiders did and what the Pats did back in 2014, or yeah, 2014, yeah.
Yeah,
What they did, it's two different situations, you know. One's blatant right here. The other one is like an if. It's like a 50-50 or it's like theorized. But like the punishment wise, you're both fined over $1 million. You both lose a pick. You both like it's but I mean, obviously Deflategate, I think had more punishments. I mean, Tom Brady, Tom Brady
Also,
he got
the
suspended 4
situation it
games.
was in, but
right.
obviously is
But the
why.
penalties that they have, like this is probably the biggest, in my opinion, this is probably the biggest penalty I think a team I've ever seen on a team since Deflategate.
I agree.
Right. And that's why I think it's such a big deal.
I just
I mean,
think, and before we get into our next topic, I heard a rumor a week or two ago that the Titans might end up getting fined too, a huge one. Because remember when they had their little COVID scare, they had to reschedule the
yeah.
game with the Steel. Yeah, I guess they 5 players ended up going to practice with COVID, and I think the Titans are going to end up getting fined too. But that
Right,
hasn't
but
been
that's
that
then
hasn't
that's
been
see
released
that's
yet.
a little
So
that's a little questionable too.
yeah,
It is like did
it
they know
is.
that they had it and then they come? Did the team know that they had it and then
Well,
they
I
went
mean, if
anyway?
someone gets COVID, especially on a team, I think they have to know. So I
Right.
think that's why the Titans might end up getting fined. But that hasn't happened yet. That's just a rumor. Um,
Right.
I don't
And
think you guys are.
sometimes like
Yeah,
and sometimes I'm sorry to cut you off. Let me just say this one
no,
thing.
you're good. You're good.
Sometimes in sports, they kind of the way COVID's handled, it's sometimes so unprofessional.
Yeah,
Like for instance, like for Justin Turner, like I'm just using him for example, for him to find out that he had COVID during like the sixth inning,
that's
like
unprofessional.
it's unprofessional. Like me, I gotta work. Like I'm doing like parab operator for my college's football game. I'm working with ESPN with that. But I took the test. I took it a day later than when I was supposed to, and they got the results back to me within a day and a half. So like
Right.
if they can do that for a college team, then there's no excuse why professional sports should not have these tests coming in at the appropriate time so people know ahead of time what they need to do.
Absolutely.
So again, there is a possibility that these players coming into practice did not know that they had COVID, but there is the possibility that they didn't. They just said, "Screw it, I'm gonna go anyway."
Right.
So
There's no
they
way to
gotta
tell.
they gotta
Yeah.
investigate that.
Yep.
I got nothing else to add to this. What about you guys?
Not really.
All right.
Couple
We'll
more
talk about.
topics.
We'll talk about Christian McCaffrey when we talk about the Panthers and Chiefs game when we go over the Week 9 Sunday games.
All
We'll
right.
just go for now. We'll go on Thursday Night Football.
Well,
Packers.
before we go on Thursday Night Football, let me just stay on this COVID thing for a second because Atlanta and Miami,
That's right.
they got into an intense protocol today. So two different situations here. So I'll start with Miami. So Miami, it was assistant coach that got tested positive for COVID, but there's Miami still having a walkthrough practice. As for Atlanta, they shut down the whole facility over one positive COVID test. They shut down in-person operations, and then it was the person who got tested positive was somebody on the football staff. They're doing virtual operations right now, but both teams are expected to play this week. So your thoughts out of both those situations, which one do you think handled it better?
Before I go on about that, can you explain the Dolphins one to me again? That one I didn't.
The Dolphins one, yeah. So it was it was not an offensive coach. It was an assistant coach who got tested positive, but they still had walkthrough practices. But both teams are expected to play this week.
I think the Falcons handled it well.
Yeah, both teams did pretty well.
Yeah, they handled it pretty well. But
I
I mean,
agree.
me personally, if you got tested positive, I still wouldn't have a walkthrough practice. I do it all virtually, like the Falcons did.
Yeah, for
But
at
I
least like a
mean,
day or two until you find out like who
right.
actually has tested positive on the team.
Yeah, but I think overall the Falcons definitely handled it better.
I agree with that.
They did something right for once.
Well,
Shocker.
a 15-point lead.
I hope they do that again. It's just too funny.
But yeah,
Anyway, I don't know if you guys got anything else to add to that, so we can get to
Nah, I think it's
handled it well.
Yeah.
I think Atlanta handled it
Yeah.
well. Miami, I think they treated it very lightly. I wouldn't
I think
I wouldn't
so
be
too.
surprised if people on Miami get more positive COVID tests. I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised. Well, see, I think this is why Miami's not, because Florida uplifted their COVID protocols back in August. I think it was either August or September, one of the two, or some maybe even before that. You don't have to wear masks in Florida. You don't have to stand 6 feet. They uplifted all of those, and I think that's where the problems are stemming from. It's because they're a Florida team. They're in Miami. Miami's a hot spot for a lot of people.
Right.
So that's a problem. I think that's a problem. The Dolphins ignore those. The Florida mayor, in my opinion, I think he's the dumbest politician around right now, aside from Donald Trump. But we're not talking about politics.
Oh God, no.
I think I think they need to just ignore the Florida protocols and just follow the NFL protocols, even though they're not good either. I think they're better than what Florida is doing, in my opinion. But yeah, I meant to say Florida governor, my bad. But yeah, I mean, I think the Dolphins need to take this more seriously. I know they're in Florida and they don't have that much protocols anymore, but yeah, that's just what I got to say about that.
I agree.
All
All right.
Let's move on to Thursday Night Football. That was last night. Packers defeated the 49ers 34-17, my bad. So I'll start with Spencer because the Packers is his team.
Yeah.
Talk to me, Spencer. What did the Packers do right and what did the 49ers do wrong?
All right, so watching the game last night, of course, Aaron Rodgers is on the warpath this season after the pick of Jordan Love, which is just, as a Packers fan, I don't understand what was going on with that. Good kid, but Aaron Rodgers still has a good 3 years easily of good production left in him. So I guess maybe that's just preparing for the future after. I don't know. But anyway, last night, well, obviously, a lot of the Packers players, they were looking at the secondary where the 49ers secondary is actually not a bad secondary in my honest opinion. They aren't a bad team. It's just full of injuries through the defensive line. It's a lot of injuries to them. So more or less, it's just that Aaron Rodgers had a lot of good blocking time where if you watch the game, he had like good 4 or 5 seconds to throw the ball even. Like if you give any NFL quarterback more than 3 seconds to throw the ball, it's very likely that you're gonna just march down the field very easily. Especially with the fact that Devontae Adams, who in my opinion is an easy top 5, top 10 receiver in the league, but is underrated.
Not to cut you off, I'm gonna say something real quick. I think David Bakhtiari was out that game too.
Bakhtiari was out, and
that was a big one.
We had a couple of injuries to our line actually. We actually had a rookie. I think he was a right guard, but I was actually watching him specifically because I was like, hey, if we lose some linemen, this kid's gonna be playing for us next year anyway. And he was doing a great job stopping the 49ers defensive line, which is great. It was good to watch. But it's great to see as a Packers fan that Devontae Adams having a great season so far. What's he have like almost he has like how many touchdowns? Like almost like 8 to 10. I think.
Well,
Devontae Adams his touchdowns this season. He has almost like I think he has in the
he had
close to
one
10.
this game.
I think he has close to 10 this season.
Well, I'll read off some stats for you guys. Aaron Rodgers went for a completion attempts 25 for 31. He had 305 yards, 4 touchdowns. Pretty solid overall.
Yep.
Devontae Adams had 10 receptions, 173 yards, a touchdown. Marquez Valdez, Scott Scantlin had 2 receptions, 53 yards, and 2 touchdowns. It's really good. Mercedes Lewis had a touchdown. Aaron Jones had 15 rushes and 58 yards. Zadarius Smith had a sack. He had a forced fumble and a fumble recovery, and Raven Green had an interception. So I think what really went right here for the Packers was their defense because their offense was explosive, but their defense is definitely improving in comparison to their loss against the Vikings and their loss against the Buccaneers. And even against the Texans, they were struggling a little bit, but they still got the job done nonetheless. I think right here, their defense is improving, especially in comparison to the last few weeks. So I think that's definitely something the Packers did right now. As for the 49ers, in general, the 49ers just did everything wrong. Their offense wasn't that bad, but not as bad as I thought it'd be. Nick Mullins for completion attempts, he had 22 for 35, 291 yards. He had a touchdown. It's not the worst thing in the world, but whatever. Jerick McKinnon had 12 rushing, 52 yards and a touchdown. Richie James had 9 receptions, 184 yards and a touchdown. Ross Dwelly had 3 receptions and 52 yards. Fred Warner had 13 tackles and a tackle for loss, and Jordan Willis had a sack and a tackle for loss. So overall, the 49ers are injured to hell. They basically lost their entire team. They lost Jimmy G. Mario didn't. We think that's not really a big deal, given that Jimmy G hasn't been performing. They lost George Kittle, which isn't good. He's one of the best tight ends in the league if he's healthy. They lost a few other people. I think overall the 49ers just they didn't do their job, And I can't necessarily blame them because they don't have a lot to work with. Basically they're all of their stars are injured. They're done, most likely for the year. I just can't see George Kittle coming back, even though he's out 8 weeks. I just can't see him coming back this year. I think the 49ers just didn't have themselves a game. I think the Packers, I just could not see the 49ers winning this game. I just saw the Packers all the way.
If I was a 49ers fan right now, I'm hoping that the team just sits here and says, you know what, let's just take this season, rest everybody up, and let's get back to work next season. Honestly, that's what I'm thinking. If I was in the 49ers organization, I'm thinking that right now. I'm thinking let the young guys, let the guys on the practice squad show. Maybe you have a stud just come out of nowhere from just some guys who are just sitting the bench all the time. Maybe you just have a stud come out of nowhere. Who knows?
Right.
But no, if I was on the 49ers, I'm sitting here thinking to myself, is this a time where we need to start kind of just see what happens? Don't play any of our big names. You don't need to risk anything happening to George Kittle when he comes back. Is Mostert back yet?
No, I think he's out too.
He's still out. He's still out with an injury. That was not pretty injury.
Nick Foles is out
with
Beretta. Nick Foles is out for the
I'm
year.
sorry, but if I was them, I'm letting this team. I'm just letting the season.
They're in the same pickle that they were before I give this to Mario. They're in the same pickle that they were 2 years ago. Yeah. And I said it even last year. If the 49ers were not injured in 2018, they would have been in the Super Bowl, or at least contended in the playoffs. It's the same situation here. This never happened. Full of injuries. Yeah. Your thoughts, Mario?
So there's some things I can agree. I'll go to Nate specifically. There's some things I can agree with you with, and there's some things I can't. I'll go with the agree first. So I do agree that the Niners just didn't play a good game. Nick Mullins, the 22 for 35, 291 yards, the 1 TD and 1 pick. I'm gonna be honest, and I know about this because my quarterback is the king of doing this. It's garbage stats. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying? They end up throwing 300 yards within the last 2 quarters when it doesn't matter. So when the Packers were up 31-3, 34-3, something like that, right? Yeah. Nick Mullins finally starts cooking, but it doesn't matter because he's not going to catch up. It's in the 4th quarter. You're not catching up from that. But here's the thing. I disagree with you because I'm actually, if I am a Green Bay fan, which I'm not, if I was, I'd be concerned for that defense. I'd be concerned for that defense. And the reason why is, first of all, you only get one sack, and that's Zadarius Smith, and Zadarius Smith is a really good player. See, as a Vikings fan, when I'm looking at rivals, there's certain guys that pop up to me, and Zadarius Smith is one of them by far. Zadarius Smith, only one sack and one pick. So I don't think the defense did good stopping him, but towards the end, 17 unanswered points. I mean, you gotta do something. Like, I mean, it just, like, I get it's the Niners now, but if it's a better team later on, you just can't. Like, the defense concerns me.
Oh yeah, no, it's
Here's
extremely concerning.
Defense concerns me, but I think it's an improvement over the last few weeks.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
but again, it's still very concerning.
Yeah.
It's still very concerning to me if I was a fan, because to be honest, I don't think Preston Smith has really been that great this
No.
year. Zadarius Smith has been good. Don't get me wrong. I like Zadarius Smith, but like, and they did have Kevin King out too. So I mean, like, Kevin King's
We
a
also
decent
lost
player.
Jair Alexander to concussion, so
Yeah,
he's our best secondary. He's our best.
right.
Our
But
best player in the secondary.
but like, the defense is just very concerning to me. Now I'll go to the offense now. Aaron Rodgers is starting to play like the old Aaron Rodgers, and I'm not a big Aaron Rodgers fan. I'm not, but
Yeah.
like, I know, but I can't deny the facts. I can't say, like, I can't be dumb here and be like, oh, he's not playing good, because it's not true, because the stats are showing it. Devontae Adams is turning into one of the league's best wide receivers. You know what I'm saying? Personally, I think he's one of the best wide receivers in the NFC North by far. So with that being said, like, Valdez Scanlon's a good piece for them. Sometimes he has like some up and down days, like up and down
He's
games. But
technically our four. I think he's our third option, but with the fact that Al Lazard is injured still, I think he's coming back this next week.
yeah.
He's still out.
Now,
Valdez Scanlon is going from a third to a second option.
right now for Aaron Jones, like 15 for 58 yards, that's an average of 3.9 yards carry. And I'm not gonna say underperformed, because the reality of it is Aaron Jones didn't really have to do nothing this game. He didn't. He really didn't have to do anything, because Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams was putting up the show. Sitting with Scanlon. Scanlon had those 2 touchdowns. I'll say this. I'll say this though. It seems like Aaron Rodgers is the most dangerous when he comes off a bad loss. It really is, especially this year. When it comes to the Bucks, like, after that embarrassing loss that he had, he came back and he did really good against the Texans. And then after he lost to the Vikings, he came back and he had a great game against the Niners. So, like, he's a very scary quarterback coming off a loss. And so being said that, I mean, Green Bay's a good team, though. I don't have them favored to win the Super Bowl or anything like that, or go to. I still, to me, it's still Seahawks. To me, it's still
think it is
Seahawks. They
too.
haven't given me a reason. They have not given me a reason not to believe it's the Seahawks.
Me, even as a Packers fan, barring any major injury to a Seahawks lineup, I could see the Seahawks doing it. I
Now,
honestly see it being a Bucks and Seahawks, Packers, Seahawks.
I think it
or
might end up
Bucks
being Bucks and
and
Seahawks.
Packers.
now, before we get off this topic, I wanna go right to the Niners, because there is somebody on this list that Richie James. I'd never heard of who the hell that guy was. Then, so all of a sudden, this dude gets 9 catches for 184 yards and a touchdown. Part of garbage stats, but it's still good stats.
Right.
So I mean, like, it's not Nick Mullins, it's him making the plays. And so with that being said, hey, like, going back to what Spencer said, they could, like, feel out this season, see who their hidden gems are. Richie James might be that guy.
Right.
You just don't know. I'm not saying it's one game. Don't get me wrong. He could have a great game, and then for the rest of his career, just have, like, crappy games. I hope that's not the case, because I really like to see talented people come in, and talented players come in and ball. But hey, if that's what they're looking for, hidden gems, they might want to take a look at this Richie James, give him somewhat of a
I'm
minute.
sorry, but this Ricky James kid reminds me of one person, and I think you're a fan of him because obviously he's on your team. But he looks like one of those guys who next year, if Garoppolo's healthy, he's still on the team, and they target him. He reminds me of Adam Thielen.
He's not physically, so like Adam
I'm
Thielen.
talking about as a guy who I'm talking about, like, he reminds me of how Adam Thielen came up. Like, you could even agree with me on that.
Okay, yeah, all right, yeah, to come up. Continue.
Yeah, like how he was a no name, and Adam Thielen had those few games where he got a bunch of touchdowns, and all of a sudden, next year, the year after that, he's like, okay, so now he's constantly out there getting catches, and then the year after that, he's one of your key catches.
I'll agree to a degree, and the reason why I say to a degree was because this dude might be a rookie right now, so I can't say nothing yet. But the way Adam Thielen was is he didn't have that one good rookie season. It didn't start that way. His rookie season, he was a special teamers, and as year and year went by, Adam Thielen's career is like I can't even think of the word. It's like stairs. Adam Thielen's career has been
It's
stairs.
climbing up. It's coming, yeah.
Right. You start off as special teams, then you take a bigger role in special teams. Then you start becoming like one of the best special teamers in the league. Then you go from there to like a third wide receiver. From there, you go second. Then from there, you go first. And now you're so all of a sudden the leader because Diggs ain't there no more.
Is he your first receiver?
It looks like Justin Jefferson might turn into number one, but right now it might be Thielen.
If I was you guys, I'd put Thielen in the slot. Honestly, he's quick and has hands.
He is, but I mean, it's a toss up. To me, it's like a 50-50. You never know whether it's him or Jefferson who's going to have the day. But if it turns into a passing day, but Richie James, it's not like that. Like the come up, yeah, but Richie James, like this is a rookie making an impact as a rookie. So like it's not he's climbing. He's not doing that. He's making an impact right now as a rookie, and he could be one of the best wide receivers in the game. And honestly, listening to another undrafty in his story, I'd enjoy that. I wouldn't mind that. But it's a guy they might want to keep an eye on. And even if you put him like in a bigger role and you end up losing, there's nowhere for you to come. Like you're about to be in the place where there's nowhere for you to go anyway. Yeah. So you might as well just let Richie James, give him some bigger roles. It could benefit you, could not. But I test it.
Yeah, no. Who's the top receiver for San Fran when they're healthy?
Samuel, right? Is it
Samuel?
Yeah.
That's one thing. Technically their top receiver, quote unquote, would be George Kittle.
Right.
Yeah.
Their main guy they want to throw to is George Kittle. You watch a game of theirs and when they're all healthy, and you know for a fact it's Jimmy Garoppolo's looking for George Kittle like 7 to 10 yards out every time.
Right. But I say from here, what the Niners should do is you put Richie James in a bigger role. Ross Dwelly, who also had himself a decent game, not great, but it was a decent game. You put him up into another role too. Get these young dudes right now while you have this season, while your season is almost set in stone. Have these young dudes start stepping up immediately. So if it comes to a time where they need to step up, they'll be ready. And I think that's how you build a great offense. Is you take these young receivers and you put them in the fire. You put them in the fire. Whether they do good or bad, you put them in the fire. So at least they'll start getting used to it. If I'm gonna keep Richie James in the practice squad for 2 years, and then I bring him in another year, and then honestly, I can't see him really developing. Adam Thielen is a rare cause. You will never hear of a guy, in my opinion, in the NFL who starts off as special teams and builds his way up to the number one wide receiver. And
the only person I could think of right now off the top of my head, I think if I'm thinking correctly, just because I'm a Packers fan, I knew this. I think it was Robert Tonyan, our tight end. He was in Sternberger, our two tight ends.
Right, but even Tonyan got some way to go. Even Tonyan has ways to go. He's good. Don't get me wrong. I know who he is for sure. I know Aaron Rodgers really likes him, but even Tonyan has ways to go. So it's still too early to decide.
Obviously, yeah, no, but that's.
But like, not everybody can climb those steps. Sorry to cut you off. Not everybody can climb those steps. So like, I say you put Richie James, you put Ross Dwelly, you put these guys in the fire. While Kittle and Deebo Samuel and Kendrick Bourne, while they're all out, you put them in the fire. You put them in front of the best guys week in and week out. Have them get adjusted. So by the time the season's over, they'll be adjusted to being a decent wide receiver. Now it just builds the San Francisco offense up, and then you tank. Now I wouldn't say tank, and then you have a bad record, and then you can get a better pick. That's what I think they should do. You build these.
If I was the 49ers, I'm going for a receiver. I'm going receiver.
By the way, it was Deebo Samuel what you were thinking about.
Okay, good. Yeah. Sorry, I cut you off there, but I was saying I'd go receiver if I was them.
All right. Anything else you guys want to add to this?
No, not really. We got. What about you?
Just basically, what's it called? I could see that if the only way that the Packers can really go over the next step for me to get to that Super Bowl and beat the Seahawks is honestly if Preston Smith and Zadarius Smith step up and stop the run
and improve the defense.
Honestly, no, the secondary is not bad. The Packers secondary, if you watch the games, and we don't have a bad secondary.
Yeah.
Okay. We actually have a very good one led by Jair Alexander, who could be you could say he's at least top 5, top 10 corner in the game right now, just because of how well he plays guys like that. But it's honestly, I think it's not even on defensive linemen. I think it's the linebackers that need to work. It's the linebackers that need to get looked into because when the Packers got rid of Blake Martinez, that was a huge loss for
Right.
the guy from Cleveland. I can't remember exactly the name, but yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like the loss of Blake Martinez was a huge hit.
I agree with that.
Overall, pretty good win for them.
Yeah, no.
Especially come back from last week.
Hoping for a Bears loss.
Now we got to go on to my favorite topic this week, and I say this week because the Jets don't play on Sunday, so I don't got a reason to put them on my damn losers list on Monday. I'm pretty upset about that, but it's whatever. We got the NFL Week 9 preview predictions. First game on the list, man. Give it to me. We got the Panthers and the Chiefs. Guys, I hate that I'm doing this, man. I got to root for my team, but you know what? I just don't see my Panthers winning this game. I want to point something out, though. Christian McCaffrey is expected to return on Sunday. Matt Rule anticipates activating him either today or Saturday, and he's been out since week 2 with a high ankle sprain. I'm pretty surprised he's coming back now. I think he should have waited a couple extra weeks just to heal up, get that time. But even with Christian McCaffrey back in and ready to go, I just can't see my Panthers winning this game. I got to go with the Chiefs on this one. Anything I'm saying that.
I got the Chiefs winning too, obviously, but like if the Panthers do play well, I can see this being like a 10-point game.
Yeah.
I can see this being a 10-point game.
Yeah,
High scoring.
I just can't see us winning. If we win this game, we'll be shocked.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, all right, so we all got the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Next game is a pretty interesting one. Give it to me, guys. We got the Ravens and the Colts. Mario Spencer, give me the Colts. I think the Colts have a better defense. I think the Ravens,
I'm going with the Colts.
especially with Ronnie Stanley
Colts.
gone now.
Colts.
I think the Colts got this one.
After that game, after what Lamar Jackson looked like against
Against the
Pittsburgh.
Steelers, yeah.
Yeah, no.
I give me the Colts.
No, I'm not gonna say I'm not a Lamar Jackson hater, but I don't see Lamar Jackson as a quarterback that's can take a team to the next level.
Yeah.
I don't see him in the levels of Rodgers, Brady,
and
Roethlisberger, Mahomes. I don't see him on the same level as those guys.
And I don't just say the Colts are going to win because of their defense. Philip Rivers proved me wrong. I didn't think he was going to play good with the Colts, and he's been doing really, really well for them. I think Philip Rivers was someone the Colts really needed, especially with their quarterback situation. I think they've been doing it pretty well, if you ask me. So I think the Colts will win this game. What do you think, Mario?
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna go Ravens, and here's the reason why. In the division, this is a big game for both of them, Baltimore and Indianapolis, because bigger for Indianapolis because Indianapolis is tied with Tennessee right now.
Yeah.
But here's what I'll say: the Baltimore Ravens defense has allowed the third fewest fantasy points per game to a wide receiver this season. Now that's just fantasy, but here's what I think. I personally think that Jonathan Taylor is a bigger factor in this game than Philip Rivers. I personally believe that.
I agree.
I think he's a bigger factor, and I think for the Ravens defense to have one of the best rushing defenses in the league, and it was tough in them last game, and it was tough. But you know what? They only lost by 4 points, especially with to one of the best defenses in the league, and especially in a game where Lamar Jackson didn't really show up. So if the Steelers are the best defense in the league, and the Colts are barely under them, I expect the Ravens to come out with a win. And plus, not only that, they're 3-0 on the road this year. So I'm gonna go Baltimore. I think Baltimore wins. I think they have a nice game. I think this is gonna be either really close or Ravens are just gonna blow them out, in my opinion. But I'm gonna go Ravens, to be honest.
All right. We got another interesting game coming up. Give it to me this time. We got the Seahawks and the Bills. I got the Seahawks, I think.
I got the Bills.
You got the Bills?
Yeah, no, Josh Allen is just killing.
I'm gonna go Seahawks.
I'll go with Seahawks.
I'm sorry, but I just think that Josh Allen is playing it to a level that it's just he's turning into a good franchise quarterback to the point where I think he can do it. He's gonna need help. He's gonna need help from the run game. He's gonna need help with the run game.
Let me be honest. I think this is gonna be an offensive game. To be quite honest, I think it's gonna be a very high scoring game from both sides.
Yep, I think so too.
But I think I got the Seahawks winning this one. Mario, you said Seahawks, right?
Yeah, and the one thing I want to point to is this: for both teams, I got the Seahawks winning this, and I think it might be a close game. But here's what I'm gonna have to say about this: I'll give two advantages for both teams. I'll start with the Bills' advantage. So the Seahawks have allowed 1,885 receiving yards to opposing wide receivers this season. That's the most by any team in the first 8 weeks of a season since in the Super Bowl era. Okay, so we'll start with that. Now here's the advantage for the Seahawks right here. Josh Allen in his first 4 games, he goes 70.9 completion percentage. He has 331.5 passing yards, 12 TDs and 1 pick, and he has 122.7 passer rate. And that was the first 4 games. The last 4, 62.8, 211.5 passing yards, 4 TDs, 4 interceptions with a 79.2 passer rating. These past 4 games, Josh Allen has not been Josh Allen. In the first 4 weeks, I would have told you that if Patrick Mahomes was an MVP candidate, Josh Allen got to be up there with him because he's just below him, to be honest. But after these last 4 games, Josh Allen has not been performing like Josh Allen. So honestly, I think in order to beat the Seahawks, right, considering the fact that they have the worst defense in the league, that don't matter. In order to beat the Seahawks, you have to go into a shootout with Russell Wilson, and Josh Allen has to be prepared to go into a shootout with Russell Wilson. And I think when it comes to a shootout, again, the Seahawks have not proven to me why they're not the Super Bowl favorites this year. Their only loss was in an overtime game against the Cardinals, in which Tyler Lockett had the season right there. I'm gonna go Seahawks only because I just think Russell Wilson, when it comes to a shootout, I think Russell Wilson's the best in the game right now.
I agree. All right, we got the next game incoming. It's a divisional game in the NFC North. Give it to me. We got the Lions and the Vikings.
You guys go.
Interesting.
All right, I'll say mine then first. I got the Lions.
All right.
I really think Matthew Stafford is very underrated for an NFL quarterback.
But they put him on the COVID list. I'm
Yeah,
not even
put him
sure.
on the COVID
He's
list.
on the COVID list now?
Yeah, they don't
Oh,
know
never
if
mind.
he's
I didn't
gonna
hear about that. Never mind.
I think
if he plays, I got the Lions. If he doesn't play, I got the Vikings. Then.
So
honestly,
final, who do you have?
Honestly,
So final, who do you have? If you had to pick one team.
Honestly,
I got the Vikings. I got the Vikings. Then.
I got the Vikings.
I got the Vikings then.
Yeah, here's the thing. I'm gonna put Vikings. Here's the thing. I was all for the Vikings tanking. Okay, I was all for it. You know what I'm saying? After those trash first 7 weeks, I was all for it. Then they decided, let's go into Green Bay and beat the Packers. And now since they did that, they better win the next. My expectation is they better win the next 10. I don't care who they play, or win the next. I don't care. I do not care. I expect
Packers don't have a run defense. Of course, you're gonna destroy us in the run.
But listen, I don't care who they play. I don't. They better win. Because if you're gonna ruin the tank process like that and bring us down, I don't want them to tank no more. If you're just gonna beat the Packers and then tank, that's stupid. So in my opinion, I'm gonna keep picking them to win until they lose. To be honest, so give me the Vikings. I think Dalvin Cook's gonna have himself a night. I don't think the Lions have 3 former Vikings. They got AP. They got Adrian Peterson. They got Everson Griffin. They got Jaron Curse. And Everson Griffin has not been himself. Adrian Peterson has not been himself since that 2015 season. And I think Dalvin Cook has a night. I think Dalvin Cook has a night.
Adrian Peterson again?
Huh?
Dalvin Cook's gonna turn into Adrian Peterson again?
Possibly. But listen, look, I don't think he's going to be that great. Don't get me wrong. It's Adrian Peterson for crying out loud. But Dalvin Cook is a great running back. I think he's going to have himself a game. And I think Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson, I think one of them is going to have a career game.
I can see that.
So give me the Vikings.
All right. We got the next game incoming. Give it to me. We got the Broncos and the Falcons. Ugh.
We choose neither.
I wish I could. Give me the Broncos, honestly.
I'm taking the Falcons.
I'm taking the Falcons as well.
Just because Julio Jones and Matt Ryan.
Now the Falcons are starting to. The Falcons, they're getting some type of momentum. They're getting very little momentum as it's coming, because, they're getting a little momentum. They're getting very little momentum, but they're getting momentum. This is going to be a close game, I think. But I think the
Broncos win only because their defense is better. With that said, next game incoming. Give it to me. We got the Texans and the Jaguars. This is another division game. Mario Spence, I think I got the Texans on this one. Gardner Minshew isn't playing for the Jaguars. He's injured. So give me Texans.
I agree with that.
I'll take the Texans.
All right. Next game incoming. Give it to me. This is going to be a pretty good game too. So we got the Bears and the Titans. Ooh. Wow.
Does anybody else want to see Derrick Henry go straight at Khalil Mack?
I would love to see it.
I'd like to see it.
Honestly, as much as I want to say Bears because their defense is strengthened, I got the Titans because their offense is deadly.
I'm gonna go Bears.
You go Bears?
You both got Titans?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Bears, and I'm gonna tell you why. So hang on, let me just write them down. Titans, Titans, Bears. I'm gonna tell you why. So the Titans have allowed the second most fantasy points per game to wide receivers. Again, it's fantasy, but this is what they're giving me for insights. Here's what I think. I think Allen Robinson has a game. I think Allen Robinson or Anthony Miller is going to have a game. I don't think the Titans cornerbacks are that good. Now didn't they recently got Desmond King, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that could be a factor. But again, Desmond King has not been performing like Desmond King back when he was in 2018. I think that Allen Robinson or Anthony Miller is going to have a game. I think that I hate to say this, but the Bears are going to win off of passing.
I can see that.
That's shocking.
Yeah.
It is shocking because they're not one of the best passing teams at all in the league. But I think they will win off of passing. I think Nick Foles is going to come in clutch. I think this is going to be a close game. Don't get me wrong. I think Derrick Henry is going to have a good game. But I think one of the Bears wide receivers is just going to be better. I'll make a prediction right now. I'll even go further. I think that one of these Bears wide receivers. Actually, I can't even say that because Aaron Rodgers really had a good game. But one of these Bear wide receivers will be nominated for NFC Offensive Player of the Week. Maybe not win it, but they will be nominated.
I can see that. All right, we got the next game incoming. We got give it to me. We got the Giants and the team with no name and the Washington football team. Ew. Ugh. Okay. Just give me the football team, man.
I have faith in Daniel Jones.
Give
You
me
got
the
New York?
I got New York. It's the fact is that watching that last game where he almost what team did he almost beat
Buccaneers.
the Buccaneers, where they almost beat the Buccaneers. That showed me that he could lead a team. It seems like it's just the fact that he's on the Giants and
And
that
his D line is just
and
absolutely terrible.
yeah, no. So I honestly feel like if you do surround Daniel Jones with like a good line, a decent line, like not like the best line in the world, but a decent line where he gets some time to get the passes off and surround him with better players. Like, I'm sorry, but when Evan Ingram's your best player, it can't even catch a pass from 10 yards down on a slant. It's a problem. So I know how people love to crap on Daniel Jones for that type of stuff, but you can't get mad at the quarterback when he throws a beautiful dot. I watched the game. He throws a perfect dot right down the middle between two corners. I mean, between a linebacker and a corner, and Evan Ingram just dropped it. So I was like, I can't get mad at Daniel Jones for them. So no Trevor Lawrence is gonna help with that monstrosity that's called the Giants.
I'm gonna go Giants too, but I'm gonna say this. The problem I have with Daniel Jones is Daniel Jones actually 55% think that Washington's gonna win this game out of projected, but I think that the Giants are gonna win this game. But the one problem I have with Daniel Jones is he is a good corner, but like the problem is he reminds me sometimes of like a Carson Wentz, where this guy just I sometimes he just can't be consistent with a good game. So like he gets 2 TDs, what is the 2 picks with it? It's almost like he's another. In my opinion, he plays a little better than Eli, but he's almost like another Eli, in my opinion, if that makes any sense. And so
Yeah.
that's the only problem. I think Daniel Jones gotta show a little bit more consistency. I think he needs to have some games where I can look at it and be like, that's a good game, opposed to me being like, well, he had these 2 picks or he had this right here. It's always he does something good, but there's also something bad that comes with it, and that's my problem with Daniel
He
Jones.
runs for 70 yards and then trips.
Yeah.
All right, we got the next game incoming. It's another division game with the AFC West. Give it to me, man. We got the Raiders and the Chargers. As much as I want Justin Herbert to win, I got the Raiders winning this game. Chargers don't have a good defense. The Raiders have one of the better defenses, so I think the Raiders got this in the bag.
Mario?
What do you said Raiders, right, Nate? What'd you say, Spencer?
I did. I was asking you first.
Oh, all right. Give me, you know what? Something's telling me Chargers. Something's telling me Justin Herbert's gonna eat this team alive.
Justin Herbert.
No, I got Justin Herbert. That kid is that he came out of nowhere. No,
He did come out of nowhere.
Like who's the quarterback before? And they got it.
Tyrod Taylor.
Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah.
What's with all good quarterbacks coming out of after Tyrod Taylor gets hurt or something?
I have no idea, but let me tell you something. Justin Herbert had a shootout with Patrick Mahomes. He had a shootout with Tom Brady. He had a shootout with Drew Brees. He's had shootouts with 2 Hall of Famers, and one of them potentially a Hall of Famer in the making. I've said this many times before. I'll say it many times again. Justin Herbert continues to play like the way he is. He is going to be one of the rising stars of the NFL. He's going to be one of the biggest quarterback threats in all NFL.
I could see him being another version of what's it called, Patty Mahomes.
If he
They
continues to
both
do
both have a cannon. I'm sorry,
They
you
do.
look at them both. I obviously Patrick Mahomes is better. Not what's I'm saying I can see Justin Herbert being a top quarterback if, and this is an if the Chargers can build something or get something decent around them. Because I know Keenan Allen, right? Or is Keenan Allen still on that team?
I think so. Is
Yeah.
Keenan Allen on that tomorrow?
Yeah, Keenan. Wait, what'd you say? Is Keenan Allen healthy?
Is Keenan Allen still on the Chargers?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, I was looking at it. Okay, then I was right. He needs to target Keenan Allen more. I've been looking at some stats from Keenan Allen. I don't know the exact ones right now, but Keenan Allen's not playing like how he should be. I feel like, or not having the stats he should get. I feel like Justin Herbert's missing him or something. I don't know, but he needs to start hitting Keenan Allen more. That's your star receiver. You could see him like he needs to pull in Aaron Rodgers and throw to Keenan Allen the whole time.
I'll say this right now. In NFL league rankings, they always find a way to shock me somehow, some way. Did you know that the Chargers are the 10th offense in the league, the 10th defense, the 13th in passing, and they're 11th in rushing?
And
How?
what's the record? 2-4.
5.
How?
I have no
How?
idea.
The
I don't.
passing's
They
all
always
between
find a
Justin
way to
Herbert.
shock me. Their rankings always find a way to shock me. They beat the Raiders in every ranking right there.
That's why I got the Chargers winning this game.
I got the Chargers. I'll say this though. Justin Herbert is a good quarterback. I'm not taking nothing away from him. He's a great quarterback. He's got an arm. He's got a cannon. The types of shots he makes, he reminds me of like a Brett Favre in a way, where he could
I
just
see what you mean.
sling it. Maybe a more mobile Brett Favre, but he reminds me of a Brett Favre. Is he gonna be a Brett Favre? No. I don't think he's gonna have the accolades that Brett Favre does. I'm gonna be honest with you. Justin Herbert stays on the Chargers and they don't develop anything. I don't think he'll ever win a Super Bowl.
No,
But
I
I'll
don't
say
think so
this.
either. I don't think so either.
But I'll say this. I think he's going to be a great quarterback. I think Justin Herbert, Tua, and Joe Burrow are going to be our recent generation of Eli Manning, Philip Rivers, Ben Roethlisberger.
I agree.
All right, I can see that.
I can see,
I can see it too.
I need to see more out of Tua, but
yeah, but time will tell.
Time will tell.
Will
Yeah.
tell.
yeah, because that Dolphins win Tua's debut game and they got the win. Most of that was due to the defense, so I would need to see
Right.
Tua
I think-
perform
I
more
think-
in this next game.
Right. As for now, like right now, I think to be honest, I think Herbert's looking more of like a Philip Rivers. I think Joe's looking more of like the Ben, and I think Tua's looking more of like the Eli.
Yeah,
Where it's like,
Yeah.
that's my opinion, but like everybody has a different opinion. But
Yeah.
no,
I got the
that's-
Chargers win this.
All right, we got the next game incoming. This is gonna be a bad game. Give it to me. We got the Steelers and the Cowboys. Mario, Spence, I got the Steelers.
Yeah, do we got to talk about it?
Do we have to?
You don't have to if you don't want to. The less said, the better, honestly.
That's one of the easiest ones this week. Of course, the Steelers.
Honestly,
Obviously, the Steelers going to win that
Honestly,
game. It's going to be a murder.
Mario, the less said, the better.
Yeah.
The less said, the better. Let's just move on to the next matchup. Give it to me. This one's gonna be a little more interesting too. We got the Dolphins and the Cardinals. Whoa.
Cardinals.
Cardinals. You know what? Yeah, give me the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals will win this.
I'm gonna give Dolphins. I'm gonna be honest.
Okay. You got faith in Tua?
I have faith in
do.
Tua. I have faith in Tua, but
I have faith in DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, he's got a tough team to face right here.
I do too. I got faith. I got faith in Tua, cause well, I got faith in the Dolphins defense too, that they're gonna do some things to get Kyler, that to kind of make Kyler uncomfortable. Cause like the Dolphins go up against the Rams and they beat them 28-17. Then they go up against I'm going through their history right now, because the
49ers,
Dolphins
they beat them like 43-7.
they beat the 49ers with a healthy Jimmy Garoppolo was healthy for most of the game, and then they had Deebo Samuel, George Kittle. Isn't that a good offense in my opinion right there in the Niners? Then they go and they beat, I believe, they beat the Jets, which is not that hard to do. But here's the one thing I look at the Dolphins with, and this is the one game that caught my eye. They almost They lost the Seahawks by 5 points.
Hmm.
5. Don't the Seahawks have like one of the best wide receiver cores in the game?
Yeah.
We're like
What week did they beat them or lose them in?
Losing.
week 5 or 6.
Okay, because I was about to say if it was like week 1 or 2, I can understand that just due to the fact that Metcalf wasn't being used. Like Metcalf all of a sudden just started getting used a lot more. Like after like week 2 and 3, like they started targeting him a lot more after they saw what he could do.
Right. So I think the Dolphins defense have really proved themselves to be a good passing defense. And so with that being said, Tua didn't play that bad. With the touches that he had, he didn't play that bad. He had that one strip sack, but again, it's Aaron Donald, you know? The best quarterbacks in the league cannot stop being strip sacked by Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
Like in my opinion, it's Aaron Donald. Like, I mean, I can't say nothing else. So being said, I think Tua has a good game. I got a lot of trust in Tua. I think he's gonna make the right plays. I think the defense is gonna hold their own again. I think the defense will hold their own, and I think, and as good as this is going to be a close game, but I got the Dolphins winning this. I think the Dolphins defense is going to show up.
I can see why you say that. All right, last Sunday night game and last one of the day. We got this one's a pretty good game. This is also one of the division game in the NFC South. Give it to me. We got the Saints and the Buccaneers. You know what, guys? You know what, guys? Yeah. No, I think he got injured again. Honestly, guys.
Hold on.
Honestly, guys. I think the Buccaneers win this game. I think the Saints are struggling a lot.
1 hour ago, Saints QB Drew Brees' shoulders and wide receiver Michael Thomas expected to play.
You know
I got
what?
the Buccaneers though.
I got the Buccaneers winning because I think the Saints have been exposed way too many times.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think they're struggling offensively. They're struggling defensively. I think I got the Buccaneers winning this one.
I agree with that, and plus, I think Tom Brady has to. Well, not Tom Brady because he actually had a good game, but I think the Buccaneers got to have a better game than what they did against the Giants. You know, that was kind
and
of
of course Antonio Brown is
and he's making an appearance too. So I think the Bucs.
And I don't know if, and I don't think, and to be honest with you, I don't think Antonio Brown this game is going to have that big of a factor.
No.
But I think that just him being on the field is going to bring attention. So like
yeah.
So I got Buccaneers winning that too.
Yeah, I got Buccaneers.
Especially after the first time they lost, I don't think Brady's going to let that happen again.
Yeah. And our teams on buys this week: the Rams, the Bengals, the Eagles, and the Browns. So I think we covered everything today.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty happy with this episode. Not tonight. I think I'm all set. So anyway, thank you guys for watching episode 15, Spencer. Thank you for coming on the show as a special guest.
Appreciate it, Spencer.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for watching. Be back for episode 16 on Monday. Peace.